What's up?
Hey, hey.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing? And getting ready
Doing
for
so.
next week. Gonna
I'm
have you
ready.
in the house.
I'm ready. I love your office is you know, I think and I would love kind of the intent when you talked about it, but your office is definitely one of like if you were gonna like step back and design, okay, let me close my eyes. What do I want in the ideal office now for real estate and into the future? You check all the boxes, and I think a couple boxes that people wouldn't even think about checking.
True, true. We have been in our new space for a little over a year now, and we love it, love it. Like right now, while I'm on this podcast with you, we have 60 agents probably behind us with Dr. Bennett here talking about the forecast for Texas for real estate
Oh wow.
with the CE class today. So yeah, it's very exciting what we're doing here.
What was because you've always had kind of physical office space, right?
Mhm.
So when you kind of looking at kind of retweaking the office of the future, and this I think this is a great question to be thinking about for people. If you are going to do a physical office, like step back and like what's the goal, what's the intent, pros cons, if you're not willing to have this type of office, do you even have an office? Like what's kind of your take with the whole physical virtual office environment?
When we decided, obviously, to go with EXP, we had been with a franchise for 25 years, and then we made that move to EXP. We knew we wanted to grow. So we wanted a not big enough office space, but not individual offices. And so it's more of a floating workspace is what we have here, some private conference rooms. Just it's cool space though. When you walk in, people go, wow.
Yeah.
And we do have a stage. We do host a lot of events here. And so I think our office is really built for growth for EXP, is truly what it's built for,
Yeah.
and for showing and training and teaching people. We teach some new people, but we also dive into, like, for instance, Alex is coming this week to talk about how to make a multiple six-figure income with YouTube,
Yeah.
and lots of agents want that. Tony King is coming to talk about how to attract and recruit agents. And whether you're with EXP or not, a lot of brands are recruiting and attracting and building teams right now.
Yeah.
So it's appealing to a higher level agent.
Yeah, I think it draws, everything in, covers a lot of bases, but
Mhm.
where do you because if we're not hosting events, I mean, what's the typical agent traffic, in the office daily? What does that look like?
Yeah, agents kind of wander in and out. We have a full staff here and transaction coordination, marketing people. We have photographer on staff. And so day to day, our office has a full level staff here. We have somebody at the front desk, and the agents kind of wander in and out through the day. On Tuesdays, we have sales meetings here. Now, I always have my morning call at 8:30 that you taught me to have years ago, and we are very consistent with it. And so we gather on Zoom in the mornings, but they trickle into the office through the day,
Yeah.
meeting clients. One of the elements I think that we brought to our office, John, that's very unusual, and did this years ago, is we do have a full-time chef that works for us.
Yeah.
So that brings people in as well. Like today, we're serving a full lunch. Yesterday, I had her making um, little like cake balls, if you would, and fabulous because she's a trained pastry chef.
Yeah.
And all of our pastries are made fresh. And all of my clients yesterday at the Cascades got a little box for Mother's Day. And I've received so many thank yous and text messages from people last night and this morning for it. So
Yeah.
it's just a way to keep connections with your clients.
Yeah, and you've kind of fell into that. I mean, how long ago did you start kind of with the whole cooking and connecting type of approach
I
with the
mean,
business?
we started that. Well, I mean, the reason I started it is, if you remember, John, we talked about I was the broker for a big high rise in Tyler. And, in Tyler, Texas, we were the only high rise. And so we knew we had to attract people there. And the way we did is we attracted people with their friends over food.
Yep.
Because when people break bread together, I mean, it's just, it's magical. And
Right.
so we started with the high rise project. So 10 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
We started feeding people. And I'm going to tell you this, and we have bought 4 funnels for attracting buyers and sellers because I knew I needed to do something maybe a little different.
Yeah.
I will tell you, still cooking for people and connecting still outranks all of that. It just does. It just outranks all of that.
You know, I think no matter what happens with real estate, you know, it's still a relationship trust business, right? So no matter what happens, it'll always come down to a decision of trust. Who do they trust more to move forward with this purchase or sell this, you know, with their investment? And so I think you just kind of accelerate the relationship and trust process with food. And so being able to do that's not for everybody, right? And so
it takes talent to be able to pull that off. And it's not that I'm talented, it's the people we hire that's very talented to pull that off.
Yeah. And you know, there's ways to go about offsetting a lot of that stuff that you were able to do with the weekly and bringing business and bringing community together. It is just a fantastic take and fantastic approach. You know, like I said, of all the offices, I've seen a lot of really cool offices, but you know, they have kitchens and stuff, but they don't have a designated, hey, we're going to build this around connecting. We're going to build this around food. And I think it's been one of this, you know, successful things for you to accelerate relationships and accelerate trust within the community. And you know, the place you had in the place here, but beyond that, you know, how important has it been? And I just like, because I get the question all the time, right? Cindi is like, hey, office or no office? And it's just like, well, what's the goal? Like, what are we trying to accomplish? So when you were building this office, just kind of walk us through the thought process, because I think this will be really important for people to hear. It's like, hey, do I do a physical office or do I not? Like, what do I need to be thinking about if I do want to do this?
I didn't want to give anybody the reason not to join us. So I always felt like we needed to have a physical location, because a little bit of the feedback I get in our industry, well, we don't have an office. One of the things that recently I got was somebody came and joined us because of the camaraderie in the community that we're building. It's hard to build community. I know you can build it online, but you can build it face to face also. And so as a local team starting out here, we kind of had to build that face to face. And so I think that when you're starting and thinking about an office, you, number one, want a very cool space. You want not just the normal 1970s, 80s, 90s building. We came into a really nice space. Even when we were downtown, we bought an older building, completely remodeled it, put a fabulous gourmet kitchen in it. And it was something that when people walked through the door, they just went, wow.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did here. We created the same thing, very upscale looking, and they walk in the door and they say, wow. So if you're going to do it, you want to do it right. We also built our office around some synergy. Our title company is just down below from us. We're on the second floor. They're down below in the adjoining building. So we can just walk right out the door to have our closings.
Yeah.
It's very convenient. So that synergy really helps. The bank's just across the street. Our lender comes to us, and she's in our sales meetings on a regular basis. So I think you want to just build that community and build. We do have affiliate members here. We have affiliate members that scroll on the TV screens here through the day. So we're building that. They pay a monthly membership to be a part of this community.
So that is one way to go, right? You know, you think about offsetting it a little bit. You have it for your office. You know, that's the biggest thing too, with, you know, making that commitment, that investment in the lease space, and, you know, how do you get traction? And I think you have to look at it just outside of just for your team. You have to look at it for other things. How do you get people into the office?
Yes. Well, we do that through our events, but I will tell you, like this event that's going on today with Dr. Bennett, I invited like some clients that were developers and builders. Our room is full of agents and clients and developers that are customers of ours, clients of ours. So I think that's important that when you pick a topic, and if it appeals to more than just agents, you invite them in as well. And just, again, it's a way to bond more with your clients and put you out there as the expert in what you're doing. We are hosting a large group of appraisers coming up next month. They're using our facility. They're paying for it. I mean, we're going to serve lunch to them, but they're having a big class here, their annual class. So it'll be about 60, 70 appraisers coming in. Some of our clients that have and need to host meetings, we allow them to use the space, depending on, whether we charge for it or not, depending on what their needs are.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't even think about that, right? Just associations, things that you're connected to. Also, like you said, with the appraisers, anybody in the industry, being able to offer that. I think it's the offer and the invite is just as powerful, but being able to have that space and obviously being able to, monetize it to where it's just not just a damn expense, right? It has to be able to be able to utilize it in that regard. But I think it comes back to what's the goal, right? Like if you're not really trying to really go deep and build relationships within the community, if you're not trying to really grow a larger organization, if you're just like looking to stay small, you definitely probably the office decision is going to be really dependent upon what it is that you're trying to build and what you're trying to do.
Exactly. I know that there's a lot of huge success in EXP with people that are working from home and they're building these fabulous organizations all across the world. We aspire to do that. We do. We want to do that. We don't want to just stay local. And so it's just as important to have that online presence, I feel like, to be able to take care of their team. And that's something I need more leadership in, and probably be thinking and talking to people that have already done it before me, that are able to get on the Zooms, just like yourself. I mean, you are so committed to these online events that you're doing every week. How many are you doing a week now?
3 to 4 a week.
I mean, so committed to that.
Yeah. It's just, being able to jump in, continue to have, those conversations and, there's always nuggets in every conversation. It's just, being able to really listen for, what it is and where you're struggling and being able to go through that. And, it's love having you on, as often as we can. It's just, I mean, when you've been in, I guess, not only just our industry, but you've been very at the forefront within your community. And I think this is a big get for everybody, is that, in any type of, especially with real estate, is like, if you really want to gain some mind share, you got to be out there. You got to be, creating opportunities for collisions. You've got to be, spending that time, and everybody's a little bit different, right? You do it with a space now to where you can bring a lot of people. Some people are great just one-to-one. So maybe some of their interactions with their business could be, I need to, 2 to 3 lunch appointments every week, right? Whatever that is, connecting with, decision makers, influencers within the marketplace. And I think I know, because we about pulled the trigger on it, and then we just ultimately decided to get out of Lawton. But if we would have stayed in Lawton, we had the whole plan mapped out to bring community together, just like you did, because it's so important to be connected with the small business, to be connected with the decision makers in your community, and especially if you can get some insight on kind of economic development, kind of what's going on, be on the know. It just helps you, be a better business leader, just be a better leader in the community as well.
Absolutely. One of the other things I want to share with you about being in the community and being able to connect with your clients, several years ago, we opened our own nonprofit. It was for raising money for dog and animal rescue. And we've kind of gone more into homeless people as well with it. So we opened a boutique, and it's open 6 days a week, regular business hours. We have a manager that runs it and a staff that runs it. But I was standing there. We just moved our location. We took in about 5,700 square feet in a shopping center. And we have a consignment line and a retail line. And the reason why we did the consignment was because when people were buying and selling homes, there would be a sofa or a chair that they didn't want anymore. And they would ask, hey, anybody that wants this? Yeah. And what happened is we were going on to Marketplace selling this stuff. And they were saying, well, you can keep it. Well, we started donating the funds to animal rescue. Next thing I know, I've got a 1,500 square foot warehouse full of stuff. And we're just into the household goods and the furniture. We don't do clothes or anything like that. And so we were going through a consignment store, and one day she says, "We can't take any more of your stuff. We're too full." So I went, okay. I went and opened a retail store that day.
Uh-huh.
And so that lady that told me that now works for me. She's our manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was working 20 years in the other consignment store. So
Right.
she's top notch. And she's running our store for us. But when we moved recently, I was standing there. I went in. I never go in hardly, to be honest with you. It kind of just runs itself. And so I went in one day, was looking around, and I'm there about half a day. And I kid you not, 5 of my clients were walking in and out of the door. The whole time I'm there, my clients that I sell to in the Cascades, the golf community I sell in,
Yeah.
they're consigning stuff, they're buying stuff, they're in and out. We just hosted a big golf tournament for our charity last Monday.
Yeah.
And we profited about $20,000 in the golf tournament for it.
Wow.
So it's if I'm not going to say it's easy to go open a 501c3 and start a charity. You've got to be passionate about it. But this particular thing that we're doing has really enabled us to connect with our clients even more.
Yeah. It's such a great idea. I forgot that you had even done that, because I remember we were talking about, and this is just a good get for anybody listening in. If you're, doing a lot of volume, you've got a lot of clientele, even if not a lot, but even if you're do have a steady flow of clientele, everybody needs to get rid of stuff. And so really being that solution of, hey, let's go here, we can help get rid of it, but now forming a whole new business out of the opportunity. And I think that's a great lesson, right? You see the opportunity, what can you do with it? A lot of people would just pass by, or they would just try to just tell them, hey, get it on Marketplace, but actually giving them a place to go with it. Yeah, I think that's a great strategy. I love that. I didn't even know, you got my wheels turning.
You've got to come see it when you're here next week. It's actually something to see. It's pretty cool. It's pretty incredible, actually. Yeah. And it's very high. It's upscale. It's really nice. The girls do a great job of it. It's staged beautifully. It's not like a thrift store that you walk into. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's so cool. That's just, I think, more of the lesson there, right? You see the opportunity, and then what else can you continue to do with it when you see it over time, right? We're donating it, and there's just like, hey, we can't take anymore. So, okay. Here's a business opportunity for us to be able to run with. No, I love it. I love it. Cindi, what do you think kind of the future kind of looks like? I mean, we've been in the game long enough, through plenty of cycles, ups and downs, and just kind of, obviously we don't have our crystal ball, but kind of seeing the direction of real estate professionals, things kind of moving forward.
Yeah. July is going to come and go, and you're going to see a little bit of change, I think, in our industry for a minute. I look at all the little Facebook forums. When I can't sleep at night, I start reading about NAR settlement and what they think is going to happen, and the debate that goes on in the comment section. And what I really see, obviously, there's going to be listing agents, there's going to be buyer's agents. I think list to last is still the motto. I mean, that's not going to change. We train our people to be listing agents. Now, even more so, you need to be a listing agent, because you're going to control the transaction. I think your commission's going to be up for negotiations all the way until the time you go under contract after July. So you're going to be able to articulate your value. And I told our people recently, the way you articulate your value in these transactions will be your relationships. We're back to that again. That when you get the title closer, that the best in the industry, you need to get the best, not just any title closer. You've got to have the best. And so I feel like we have the best that we close with. She can solve any problem. And the same thing with the best lenders. You don't just pick a bunch of lenders and go through them. You use the best lender because through your experience. And so I think that's where you're going to be able to articulate your value at this point. I think that the buyer's agents that are good are not going to have any issues. Honestly, I hope it weeds out a few people in our industry. The ones that do the onesies and twosies every year, it'd be nice for them to go home, and let the professionals handle the transactions at this point.
Yeah. So what is the ideal makeup of that you would say, hey, if you feel like this is kind of at your core, your DNA, maybe becoming a real estate agent is ideal for you or not? Like, what is that ideal makeup from your perspective of who thrives versus those that should just probably go do something else?
Man, I'm glad you're talking about this. Because I lose sleep over this at night, because we run through the numbers of people. And if you could wave a magic wand and you wonder who's going to make it and who's not going to make it, there's this little test that we have. Back when I got into real estate almost 30 years ago, I was given this test. And you can get these fancy ones online, but this was a one where you circle yes and you circle no on it. And I called the old manager from when I got into the business, and he sent that exact test to me the other day. So I've gone in and I've had some of our agents take the test, and you wouldn't believe how accurate it is. People that are existing agents and how accurate this test is. But what you're looking for is people that have no problem getting out there and talking to people. I've got two people in my office right now. One, they're both extremely smart. And I'm just going to say this. I'm going to put it out there, and they're probably going to hear this. I've got one, it took her 6 times to pass the real estate exam. 6 times. She had to go back and take 30 more hours.
Yeah.
This young lady took her 6 times, but she is on fire now. She got her license. And I know when I started in the business, I was ignorance on fire. And that's what she is. She takes those chances. She jumps out there. She has the open houses, and she just puts the deals together. And we handle all the paperwork for her. Because we're going to make sure that
we need to. She's probably not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, but boy, she can open that mouth and she can talk. Yeah. Now the other one took her classes, got them done fast, and she took action. She passed the test fast. She's a dot the I, cross the T agent.
Yeah,
and it's a little bit harder for her to get started. But we were in our sales meeting this week, and I asked the question, how many of you got your buyers under buyer's rep? Not just the 1 page, but the 5-page one. And of course, the one that is not the talkative one, but the one that's the I dot the I's. She raised her hand. She's got 5 buyers under buyer's rep agreements right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
follow the process.
She's all about the process.
Uh-huh.
She's going to go a little slower probably to get kicked off, but that girl's going to be good. She's going to be really good. She's determined. And so you ask the question, it's just the people that don't stop, that will continue to plug in. You have to plug in to whatever system you're doing. We have that 8:30 call every morning. They plug into that call. They do everything we tell them to do. They come to training. They come to sales meetings. They do the continuing education. They get on EXP and they learn. They go through Workspace, learn more about EXP. Those are the people that do well.
Tenacity, right? There's a tenacity to push through and get things done, no matter rhyme or reason. I think back to we ran a few different assessments. When we had Lawton, and our marketing just bled over into small city kind of a little way, but it was on its own island out there, right? And very good old boy network, a lot of like old time oil money, very like you would never know, right? But a lot of wealthy people in there. But the average sales price was so low because it was just a smaller knit, for the higher income properties. But for the most part, it was more of just a good old boy redneck type of community. And we had an agent over there that we kept feeding her. And, she's doing 50, 60 deals a year. And we're like, why is she staying on the team? Like, why is she not going to do her own dang thing? And so, at that time, obviously we go through the disc. We know she's an off the chart D personality, redhead, just like typical, like redhead D personality. And we're like, she takes no shit from anybody. She puts anybody and everybody in their place. She is very, very headstrong. Why is she not going to do her own thing? So we put her through, we went through Les McCowan's Predictable Success, where he talks about you have visionaries, you have operators, you have the synergist, which is his concept. The synergist, it's kind of the glue that brings everybody together. And then the processor. right? Very process oriented, detailed. Visionary and the processor butt heads because they're just polar opposites. But what we found with her is that she had no vision, all drive, and she was an operator, and meaning that, operators get shit done.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they might not understand what they just did, but they just got the result.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we found that, right? Obviously loyalty, there's other core values and alignment, there, obviously it needs to be that, but you get down to like, what's that one thing? And I think it's just the willingness to get things done. I mean, I think that's the drive to get things done, the tenacity, the grit, whatever you want to, label it. But I think that's kind of what's required.
No question. It is exactly what's required. We see people that come in and they sign up, they go to real estate school, they pay all their money, they join the board, pay all the money to join the board, and then they don't show up. They don't plug in. They're at the zoo with their kids during the day. Now, I love being with kids, but you got to work first, and I think so many times people maybe are guilted, especially if it's a divorce situation where they're going to go spend time with their kids versus being able to build their business so that they can spend more time with their kids.
Yeah.
And so that's what we see a lot of that. Or ladies will go get their nails done and go to lunch with their friends, and because you are no set schedule, you are your own boss in this business, and so they find other things to do. So being able to stay focused is huge. We actually have this form that all our agents fill out every day. It's a tracker. It keeps them on track. It keeps them on task. After 30 years, I still fill it out every morning.
Yeah.
Where you talk about your gratefuls for the day, and at the end of the day, you list out your wins. I think it's important because it's so easy to get off on some other venture through the day, and then look it back and not have accomplished anything.
Yeah. I had Amy Gregory on yesterday, and we were talking about that, and she was like, she goes,
she's phenomenal.
Second year real estate, baby on her hip is kind of her, her story. But she's like, listen, she goes, I only had X amount of window to work. She goes, I had to work. I couldn't go down rabbit holes. I couldn't fall into distractions. I couldn't go into it. I needed to be in my space, and I needed to do what I needed to do because I only had that many hours. And I think that's the thing, right? Because, time expands, work expands to the time allowed. So when you put a tight constraint on the ability and what you have to do in that time frame, you always find a way. It's like we're going on vacation for 2 weeks, and you've got 2 weeks worth of stuff to do. It's amazing how you can do it in 5 hours. And it's that same type of mental, concept. And I think those that have that sense of urgency with their time, they can accomplish what some people do in a year. They can do, work, somebody working 2,500 hours a year versus somebody, working, 10 hours a week. So it's just focused attention, focused time, focused energy. And I think that's the thing that I believe, if you don't have that focus muscle, you're not going to make it in this business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, that's why we do a tracker every day, because if we don't, I mean, you'll be, like I said, running down rabbit holes all day. And even if you're a mess, like the one agent, like we were just talking about, she, she's got her hair on fire. She ain't afraid to talk to nobody. She might not, tracking, we can go help her tracking, right? We can help her with that. Exactly.
But she still has some type of focused attention. She knows what she's got to do. She's focused on it. And there's a metric that she's paying attention to. It could be number of new conversations I need to have, right? Like there's something that's obviously there's probably another force driving her to do that. But when she's doing it, kind of that focused attention in some capacity, and it could be control chaos, but it's like I know what I got to do, and I'm getting it done.
Exactly. When she looks at her sheet and says that she's closing on her last 2 listings, she's got to get some more listings. I mean, that's what's driving her. And people, so many people talk about, I don't do this for the money. People say that. You've got to do this for the money. The money comes first, because the money leads to freedom. So
they're lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not a dirty word to say that you're doing this for the money, because you need to be
That's it.
open to that freedom.
Yeah, it is business. I think the misconception there, what kind of what you're talking about, the no hours, it's that employee to self-employed understanding that I do have the freedom. I'm not, holding myself accountable because I haven't moved to kind of that business owner mentality,
Mhm.
taking the ownership of my business. Even if I'm on a team, I still have my own business and I got to take ownership of that.
Mhm.
And that's, the switch. I think, the thing people that live in kind of that self-employed is more lifestyle than
Mhm.
actually, with that business mindset. And it's not for everybody. But I think those that just have that self-employed mindset, and especially in real estate, is going to really struggle in the coming months and years. So it's really taking that type of focused energy business, understand why I'm doing this, and because it's going to continue to be into a headwind for a little bit of time, and you can't just navigate a headwind without intention. And so I think that's going to be kind of the things that we really need to see in people and really need to see in agents. And I think if you want to really have a productive organization, I think you've got to kind of look for that. Now, is there places for agents that only want to do a couple deals a year? Sure. I mean, if they're a great human, a great connector,
Mhm.
maybe that's all they want to do. That's fine. But I think you got to kind of make that distinction with the team, kind of what that standard really needs to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know being on the team, you pour a lot into people and you have staff that you have to pay regardless if they produce or not. So
Correct.
I know that when this, the last 2 years, we have taken a lot of people on our team. We just took people. There's some training out there that just says take everybody and anybody. And I'm not so sure that I like that model because those people that don't produce take so much of your time
Yeah.
and energy. And so this year we're a little bit more strategic with the people we put on our team
Yeah.
versus, just people getting into EXP.
Do you think for you moving forward, especially within, to be able to tap into all of your resources, that you are going to run them through an assessment to see if they have the DNA to be able to persevere in this business?
You bet. You bet. I'm telling you, I lose sleep over this kind of stuff at night, thinking about what does it take to be a good agent. And it starts with personality. It starts with internally what is there. And then your drive to want to go do the business, want to make the money, to want to change your life. Because I'm telling you, there's no other better opportunity, number one, than the real estate business, in my opinion.
I agree.
Without a college degree, in my opinion, there is no better opportunity out there than real estate. And then obviously, I think EXP is amazing. So EXP affords so much opportunity for people that want to get into the business and be their own broker or be their own team leader. What's crazy is being a broker of 25 years, the next person can come in tomorrow and come in at the same level.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, though, there's a lot of people that have been in the industry for a long time, but they've really never developed the skills required moving forward into the future. I think that's another thing too, is a commitment to continue to evolve, a commitment to continue to grow and be better. As yeah, you can be a great, people person, going in getting business and articulating value. I mean, it's a different, to me, it's a little bit different, mindset and approach, and really taking on that I am the leader, I am the expert advisor, I have the knowledge, and let me articulate, this to you based upon what it is you're trying to accomplish. And I think the day of the agents who are just order takers, I mean, they're expired and they don't even know it yet.
Exactly, exactly. Even the brokers. I mean, we reached out to a few brokers this week that have got teams that, and the standard model you see out there where people are on 70/30s, 80/20s, whatever that commission split is. We had to make the decision that we wanted more for our agents when we made the switch to EXP.
Yeah.
I know this is not a talk about why we went to EXP, but when our agents can make revenue share, that is the most incredible experience ever. Um, I have an agent this week that made $3,200 in revenue share.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot.
It is a lot.
When you're
Yeah.
sitting with a traditional brokerage where you don't even have that opportunity.
Right.
So, and then, I mean, I've got them making $1,000 here. And I mean, they're just thrilled about this.
Yeah.
Again, like, it doesn't sound like a lot because some agents will go, well, I'll just go sell another deal. Well, that's not what this is. And so
Right.
being able to articulate that message to agents and brokers alike. I felt like this week when we reached out to one broker, I mean, he's got them stretched out already on such a high split, but it's all about himself. It's not about the agent.
Right.
And when they can open their eyes and want to build wealth for people around you at the same time where it helps you. So it's an incredible model.
It is. And, you know, I think it takes the experience in owning and operating other models to really appreciate it. And I think, you know, people that have been on a team before or newer to the industry, they don't quite understand it to the full extent. I think it takes owning and operating to where the liability all falls on you. You've got the additional insurance, you've got the broker responsibility questions, you know, you're responsible, you know, for everybody, not only just under your watch, but legally responsible for everybody. And there's just not enough dollars at the end of the day for you to continue to add more value. And it's like, you know, that's one of the things that would keep us up at night. You know, how can we add more value to our people? And I'm like, who's leaving me next because of, you know, the only thing that we can compete on is this, and they're going to go. And so, yeah, it just makes it tough.
Yeah. You know, being a traditional broker, you know, you always are, you can't sleep at night because you're wondering when somebody asks if they want to meet with you, you think, oh my gosh, they're about to leave, you know, and who's going to go with them? That is a whole different feel now. I mean, that's not happening with EXP. Yeah. Of course, we have people getting out of the business all the time, but I'm telling you, they're not coming to you going, I'm not happy with this or that, and they're moving somewhere else.
Right.
So,
and a lot of that on them is it's on them, right? Mm-hmm. Because, you know, the other value equations are there. And, you know, it was like, I mean, those are always the riddles, right? You know, how can we put more money back in their pocket? And it's just like, when you look at the business itself, look at the financials, you're like, we just ain't got there ain't nowhere, we can't give no more.
Exactly.
So I think that's, to me, and understanding with these organizations, especially, you know, you look at like EXP, which has paved the way for all the other, you know, virtual brokerages to come online. I think the way you have to look at it is it's a platform for your business. And it's still your business. And so you look at like what we've, you know, built, and then it was just plug into it, right? They just gave us a platform to add more value than what we were capable of doing on our own or any of the other, you know, legacy brands that are out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we see more of these brokerages like EXP coming online all the time. Sure. I think with the new Rev Share 2.0, I don't think they're even competitive any longer.
It's going to be hard, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be really, really hard. You know, you have certain places that people kind of gravitate to. They gravitate to other leaders, other leadership, and friends and connections. But at the end of the day, you know, you have to step back and look at, okay, what's the goal for my business, and what's the best solution for me to be able to plug into to help me achieve what it is I'm trying to achieve with my business. Mm-hmm. A lot of agents that they're not in a frame of mind or problem aware enough, Cindi, to be able to even think about that. Most of them are thinking about just their next couple commission checks. They're not even thinking about 3 years from now and what they want their life and their business to really look like.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, we have a couple of agents that are coming over from flat fee brokerages right now. And the reason they're coming, they know they're going to, matter of fact, I've got one joining the team. Her first few transactions, she's going to be on a 50-50 split. Yeah. I mean, she's coming from a $500 flat fee brokerage, and now she's going to go 50-50 on her first few deals till she can cap out with the mega team. And I explained this. I said, are you sure this is what you want to do? And she says, absolutely. She says, I'm coming for the community.
Yeah.
The community you're building here.
Yeah. Connections, relationships, be able to collapse time, solve problems, ideas, frameworks, things like that. And then, you know, aligning with you've got the full team support to be able to do a lot of things for agents. And then, like you said, you've structured an environment of accountability, and, you know, the door's open. Now it's on them to walk through and just do the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. I love it. Cindi, you're amazing. And anytime that we get to catch up and chat a little bit, it's always insightful and definitely a breath of fresh air for what you're doing and where you're going. And for you guys listening in, and you guys have heard me talk about Cindi a lot, and, everything that she's doing, I think it's the right way to do it all. And if you're looking for a blueprint to kind of grow an organization, grow your business, and grow within your community, get down to Tyler, Texas, and take a tour of the shop and just really come in, hang out, spend some time, and I think you guys will all understand everything I'm saying.
We would love that. Anybody within driving distance to Tyler, or flying distance for that matter, we will pick you up at the airport. We'd love for you to come.
Yeah, come on. Awesome. Cindi, appreciate you. And guys, make sure you connect, and we will see you guys on the next episode. See ya.
Thanks so much, John.